White House as we reaffirm our sacred promise to support and protect our great veterans. We love our veterans, and great they are. With honor and courage, these incredible patriots perform their duty to America, and now we must fulfill our duty to them, and that's what we're doing. And we're doing it beyond what anyone's ever done as president or as an administration. We're gathered together to address an especially urgent struggle. Today we're unveiling our roadmap to empower veterans and end the national tragedy of suicide. Tremendous problem. Tremendous problem. My administration is marshaling every resource to stop the crisis of veteran suicide and protect our nation's most treasured heroes. They've been through so much, and it's such a deep-seated problem. And we're doing tremendous research and everything you can do, but it is something that nobody quite understands, and they're gaining knowledge, but they don't quite understand it. And I want to thank our Vice President for being with us, and I especially want to thank, frankly, wonderful Karen Pence, who is so committed to the veterans and this particular problem. And thank you very much, Karen. We appreciate it. Thank you. Here as well are several members of Prevent's task force. Prevent's.
Yes, this is live.
Prevent's. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Robert Wilkie. Robert, great job. 90% approval rating. The VA. It's way up, 90%. And that's a number that has never, not even come close to attaining that number. So it's a tremendous job you're doing. Thank you very much. Secretary of Labor, Jean Scalia. Jean, thank you very much. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Alex Azar. Alex, thank you. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, the great Ben Carson. Thank you, Ben. Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos. Thanks, Betsy. And Acting Director of OMB, Russ Vogt. Thank you, Russ, very much. Also with us are Surgeon General Jerome Adams. Where's Jerome? Jerome, hi, Jerome. And he got a standing ovation the other day. I introduced him. He got the only standing ovation, Jerome. What was that all about? And the Executive Director of Prevent's Task Force, Dr. Barbara Van Dalen. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. And representatives from several of our nation's leading veterans groups. We have tremendous people in this room, people that worked so hard for the veterans, and they love our military, they love our country, they love our veterans. Thank you all for being here very much appreciated. From day one, my administration has been on a mission of historic scope and scale to deliver results for our great veterans. After years of shameful scandal and neglect under the Obama-Biden administration,
I was going to make the headline, Trump blames Obama for veteran suicide.
We have fundamentally reorganized the VA from top to bottom, and we've reestablished a crucial principle. American veterans deserve the highest standard of care anywhere in the world, and that's what they're getting. Great leadership. To help veterans get the care they need when they need it, we approved Veterans Choice and made it permanent, and that was a big deal. They've been trying to get it for decades and decades and decades.
Got it in 2014 under Obama.
And we got it. We got it done.
Obama did.
Basically, that means if you have a problem and you can't get to a doctor, it doesn't work, you end up going outside, you get your doctor, we pay the bill, and they get immediate service. Some of the veterans were forced in past administrations for a long time, beyond the Obama administration even, but for a long time they were.
Here's from the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Expected to wait a week and 2 weeks and 3 weeks just to get to see a doctor.
Veterans Access, Choice and Accountability Act of
now
2014.
Veterans Choice. They've been trying to get it so long. And it works
they got it
incredibly well.
way
And I
before
would
you
say
were.
that's
He
a reason
always
why
lies
when
about
I say
this.
90% approval rating. That's probably one of the big reasons. Before I took office, every month seemed to bring a new story of crisis at the VA by
And now
our
it's
friends from the
daily.
media. But the days of endless and deadly wait lists are over, and they are never going to come back. We're never going to allow them. Nobody can allow that to come back. What our
You're going to
vets
stay
had
in
to put
power
up with.
forever
I
then? Is
signed
that
the
what
VA Accountability Act into law, and we've removed more than 9,000 VA workers who were not giving our veterans the care, respect, attention that they've earned. And now that we have accountability, it's accountability, very nice word.
Is it?
If an employee of government mistreats our veterans in any way, does something wrong, isn't good for the VA,
Who knows
the
Trump's favorite
secretary
word?
looks at them and says, "You're fired, get out." Before you couldn't do that. We had people for years and years. We had stories, I could tell you, story after story, how bad it was. You had sadists, you had thieves, you had some bad, bad people. So 9,000 have been fired, and they should have been fired a long time ago. But we got accountability, VA accountability passed. We secured record funding for the VA, including $9.6 billion for mental health services in 2020. $9.6 billion. Every VA medical facility now offers same-day emergency mental health, something we didn't have.
That's very good.
Or even come close to having. We have dramatically expanded telehealth for our nation's veterans. And with COVID, it's really become probably the hottest thing there is in medicine, wouldn't you say? I think so. It's gone up in terms of usage by hundreds of times.
Well,
It
yeah.
was not picking up until COVID came along, and now it's one of the hottest things you have going in the medical world, allowing people to consult with doctors from the comfort of their homes and not having to go out and not having to make long trips, and they get
What a
tremendous
bonus.
advice, I hope.
Stay at home is
Promised
awesome.
White House
You don't
VA
have to make long
hotline that I've been
trips.
talking about has fielded more than 400,000 calls right in the White House, successfully resolving 98% of veterans' concerns. It's a great thing. We have substantially cut the wait time for veteran appeals, ensuring all issues are resolved in a swift and timely fashion. It goes very quickly now, very, very quickly. We're modernizing medical records to begin a seamless transition from the Department of Defense to the VA, something others have tried and failed to do. They've tried it for decades, long time. They wanted to do it. It's actually not as easy as it sounds, getting it done, but we got it done. The VA has also cut opioid prescriptions by 35% since 2017, and we're committed to defeating the opioid epidemic in America. We've brought it down by as much as 17% in some areas, 19, 20% in other areas. But that still means you have a lot left, but a lot of good things are happening. I have to say our border, where much of this comes in, drugs come in. We have a drug problem, we have an opioid problem. It's all the same big problem. But our border is now as secure as it's been in many, many years. The wall is now up to mile 212, and wherever we have the wall, that takes care of that area completely. But we're now down to among the lowest numbers we've ever had on the border, and we have, I want to thank
Oh, that's not even
the
close.
President of
That
Mexico,
I know is not
because
true
we
at
have
all.
17,000 troops right now
Hey,
on
CC.
the border.
Hey, Elliot. Hey,
Mexican
David. Hey,
troops.
Green Room.
And really helping us a
Doctor.
lot.
Hey, TJ.
The number of veterans who say they trust the VA services has increased 19% under this administration. That's a tremendous increase, but I'm still more impressed. It's an all-time high, by the way, but I'm still more impressed by the 90 to 91% number. That's the number I'm going to use from now on, all right? Can I do that, Robert? I like that. 91%. Can you imagine if you were a politician, you had a 91% approval
The
rating?
approval rating of vets
would
for
be
the
pretty
VA
good.
has always been tremendously high.
But there's more work
In fact-
to do. Ending the tragedy of veteran suicide demands bold action at every level of society. 20 veterans and service members take their own lives every single day. The loss of our heroes breaks our hearts and pains our souls. 1 year ago, I signed an executive order establishing Prevent's task force to develop a nationwide strategy to support our veterans in distress and stop the grave tragedy of veteran suicide. Today, thanks to the leadership of Secretary Wilkie, it's been outstanding, I'm proud to announce that we are taking this critical initiative to the next level. Following the ambitious roadmap the task force has developed,
He's
over
slurring
the
a
last
lot
year,
today.
you'll see things happening that nobody would have ever thought even possible. To lead this effort, Mrs. Pence and a team of ambassadors that she was very much involved with in choosing, including the Surgeon General, Jerome Adams. You're only there, Jerome, because Mrs. Pence wanted you there. Okay, that's a nice compliment. She's tough. That's a nice compliment. We'll launch a national public awareness campaign in the coming months. This historic campaign will mobilize every sector of American society to encourage heroes in need, empower them with the best prevention practices, and help every veteran thrive in their lives after service. They come home from these active battlefields and active places, and all of a sudden they're left sometimes alone, and you have a hard time with it.
Okay,
They
so
fought
the
our
question
battles
earlier,
overseas, and now we must join them in winning this new battle at home.
when he said 90% of
There's no
veterans
single
trust the
solution
VA,
to this issue. Every resource must be brought to bear.
and that's a
We're
record
expanding our partnerships with military and veteran organizations,
under this administration.
universities, faith-based leaders, businesses, nonprofits, and all levels of government to establish specialized support systems for our veterans.
They only started
task
asking in
force
2017.
Has already
So,
partners with
yeah.
30 large corporations to help them prioritize the mental health of their employees. And we will continue adding to that number, and the number is growing very rapidly, very, very rapidly. We're also launching a national research strategy. The Prevents Office will work with the greatest scientific minds across our nation to evaluate research to better understand the trauma service members face. They face tremendous trauma. Identify effective treatments and communicate their findings to the public. The Prevents Office is currently reviewing the $1.5 billion of federal funding committed to suicide prevention to make sure research goes where it is most needed in order to save lives and to make lives better. Here with us today is former Marine and Coast Guardsman Chad Heiser, who can share with us his personal testimony about the importance of the steps we're taking today. And Chad, if I could, please, would you say a few words? Thank you.
Hi, Barb. Hi, Guitar.
Mr. President,
Hi, Doctor. Hi,
distinguished
Yusuf.
guests, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak on this vital mission that affects the veteran community so much. The Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." God never wastes a hurt. These are the words I was told long ago by a mentor and friend, but never really understood their impact until I began the healing process from my trauma that I experienced in combat as a United States Marine. On March 23rd, 2003,
Yeah, I'd almost
in
rather
one
be watching that,
horrific day,
Patricia.
18 Marines were
Biden's,
killed.
giving
that
a
were
speech
part of
on how
Task
to
Force Tarawa
fix the
during
economy.
the invasion
Oh.
of Iraq
Speaking of which,
at the Battle of Al-Naziriyah. 3 days later, there was a friendly fire incident which rounds were mistakenly fired, resulting in the injury of Marines. After being honorably discharged at the end of my enlistment, I returned home feeling guilty for surviving, shame for feeling like I hadn't done enough. The war was still in my mind. I was detached physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I was angry and isolated from the world, including my family. Just 1 year after leaving the Marines, I decided to return to military service, this time with the United States Coast Guard, seeking a last-ditch effort to cope with the pain and regain my purpose in life. Unfortunately, my condition only worsened. In 2005, I attempted suicide. I was transported to a medical hospital, diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and shortly after, I was medically retired. During this time, my wife was praying. She was asking God to help heal me from this combat trauma. I felt there was no one I could turn to, that my life just wasn't worth living. As a tough Marine, I was hesitant to seek the help I truly needed to recover. 2009, by God's grace and mercy, I was saved by Jesus Christ. After carrying these burdens that I had carried for so long, the newfound hope I had was my foundation now. In 2011, I participated in Wounded Warrior Project's Project Odyssey, a combat recovery retreat. For the first time since returning from combat, I was able to open up about my own personal experiences and help further my own recovery process. This was truly a turning point in my life that gave me a sense of new direction. As a Wounded Warrior Project peer mentor, warrior leader, and national campaign team member, I am fully committed to serving the veteran community by giving my time and attention to listen, empathize, and encourage and help carry the burden shared by countless veterans facing similar struggles after war. I've realized through my own experience how vital it is for veterans to have a positive support system, not only within our families and communities, but also within our government. Showing support and caring for those who are hurting. It's also important to let everyone know, let the country know, that they can be strong and ask for help if you are struggling. Mr. President, I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank you for your decision to implement this important initiative, combating mental health and suicide crisis within the veteran community. I am so grateful for your actions in insisting veterans to get the help they need at such a critical time. Your leadership in this matter truly shows your care for our nation's warriors. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Well, he had me right to the very end there. So meanwhile, on all three regular channels, Biden, 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 including Fox News covering it live. You guys are making a lot of great comments, by the way. I didn't want to read anything
Chair.
during
Thank you
his
very much. I thought
testimony.
because she's so important to what we're doing, I could just, prior to Secretary Wilkie, ask Karen Pence to say a few words. And she's going to be leading us into the promised land on this
okay, well,
very
while
tough
Pence
subject.
talks...
Do you mind? Please. Either one, Karen.
19 tests. They know they're safe before they go to work, and they know their coworkers are safe. They have the confidence to resume their lives. But workers across the country aren't asking for daily testing. They're just asking for regular, reliable access to tests. Don't they deserve that? So it's not that Donald Trump doesn't recognize the importance of testing. has said he's not up to the task or doesn't care. And now he's seemingly decided he doesn't even want to try. But just like he couldn't wish COVID-19 away in March, just like he couldn't tweet it away in April, he can't ignore it away in June. So I have some basic questions for President Donald Trump. What are you going to do to make sure every worker has access to regular testing so they have the same confidence to go into a store or go back to work that White House staffers have?
Thanks, Guitar. Hi, producer
Why are you
Debbie.
leaving schools and child care
Steph.
centers
Hey, Centaur.
to navigate the
Hey, Patricia.
uncertainty all on their own without an effective guidance and resources that they need to protect the kids and their communities? Why don't you enforce the OSHA standards for worker protection during this
Wonderful
global
question.
pandemic?
I mean, we have laws and order.
Why is it the mainstream lending program created more than 2 months ago by the Congress to help?
Okay, you pause. Coming back.
She was the star, right, Mike? And I said, come on, Karen, you got to go. Great. Great. Really appreciate it. You're going to do a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, let's go.
That's one of my favorite verses from Two Collusions. All right. We don't need to listen to Wilkie.
Struggling small businesses only opened for registration to lenders 2 days ago and still hasn't distributed a single penny.
Yeah, so originally Mnuchin had said, Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin had said, full transparency with the PPP program. That's the money where the government gives money to businesses so that they can keep paying their employees so they don't have to lay them off to keep the unemployment rate looking better. However, just recently, this last week or so, they've said, no, you don't need to see the list of who got the money. This is public money. This is our money going to businesses, including businesses that have given it back, such as the Lakers. Basically a lot of large businesses that had no business taking the money, but the law was poorly written in the first place. And the Democrats said, hey, we can't put this out there because giant businesses with more than 500 employees. Okay. Anyway, now the Trump administration has decided that we don't need to see that we don't need to see what businesses took our money.
Why don't you disclose the names, Mr. President, of the businesses who received a total of $500 billion in taxpayers' funding?
I wish I'd said
that. Why are
that.
they being hidden?
Yeah, why? We should listen to this guy, not me.
How many cronies got bailouts? How many donors? How many big businesses didn't need
If you're going to say donors and cronies together, I'm going to want one of those cronuts.
it? What business had to shut down because they were denied funding in April? What businesses didn't get special approval that others got by a nod from the top?
Private jet companies, including
Why did you
those
get rid
that
of the
donated to
watchdog,
Trump,
Mr.
they got
President?
their money.
Why did you get rid of the watchdog appointed to oversee every dollar distributed, an inspector
he's
general?
Trump. Because
Why did you
because
get
he's
rid
Trump.
of that person?
He's Trump. He's Trump.
Congress passed.
He's Trump.
What are you trying to hide?
Trump.
It's a bad management on top of bad planning, on top of neglect. And it's totally unacceptable for a great nation like ours.
We're
Folks,
not a
here's the
great
truth.
nation anymore, Joe.
The pandemic is still here. It's going to be here for the foreseeable future until we get it under control or until we have safe and proven, widely available vaccine. COVID-19 is a fact of nature. We have to deal with this virus and everything that comes with it. We have to deal with it head on, honestly. Tell the people the truth.
If there's nobody there, why doesn't he have a camera
Paraphrase
telephone?
Franklin Roosevelt in the Depression. The American people can handle anything. Just tell them the truth. can't deal with it the way you're doing it. The only way to deal with it, Mr. President, if we put in the work, investing in building a dynamic, resilient economy and health system capable of getting and then staying ahead of new outbreaks. We have the capacity and the resources to do that. I've laid out baseline steps of what needs to be done.
Yes, if you donate money
From
to Trump. Yeah,
make
if you're
it
on the
work
donor list, you
checklist
can make phone calls and you
for
do get your money.
successful, accountable recovery that I put out back in early April, to the steps for a strong reopening that I released last week.
I just want to see if Fox
It's
is
not
still
rocket
covering
science.
this.
Granted, I have incredible scientists advising me
Fox is still
on
covering
almost
this
a daily
live.
basis on how to proceed, but it's not rocket science. It's common sense. It's straightforward. And that's
I
why
just wish
this
he had
is
said
perhaps
it's not
the
brain
greatest
surgery, Ben
indictment of
Carson.
Donald Trump's complete, compelling lack of leadership. He wasted months and months and months
38 million,
passing
Debbie, like the NRA.
buck, blaming everyone else, refusing to act when he should have been preparing our country for a long-term response and building up our resiliency to respond to future.
That's an excellent question. Who knows, Blinker? So Blinker just asked, will Trump attend the debates? I think so. I'm like 80% likely, but that's months away right now, which is 140 years in Trump time.
Flare-ups. Yet, we still don't have a comprehensive system for collecting COVID-19 case data. These are the basics. He should have been preparing us to weather the valleys and peaks of this virus. He should have been working to shore up the vulnerabilities in our healthcare system that have been laid bare in this crisis, and he's trying to eliminate in court. He should have been working to bridge the inequities and strengthen the cracks in the foundation of our economic system that have exposed for everyone to see. He hasn't done any of it. Because of the depths of Donald Trump's failures, this pandemic will continue to be worse for all Americans and much worse for Black and brown Americans.
Okay, good point to stop. Let's go back.
Great job you did. So Karen Pence has stated beautifully just a little while ago that the two words
Oh, we missed it.
anxiety and stress. And all I can say, Mike, is thank goodness we don't have any anxiety or stress in this job with these people back there.
Haha, attack
But
the
I will
media.
tell you, we're working very hard on this problem, and I think we've made a tremendous amount of progress. I even noticed your number, 20. 20 is different than 24. You know what that means. Each day.
That fact check,
I believe,
20 is different
each
than
day.
24.
20 is a big difference, and we're getting it way down. And with some of the treatments that we're talking about, I think it'll go a lot lower than that. And Barbara, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank Chad. I want to thank you very much. It was a beautiful, beautiful statement. You've done such a fantastic job. I see General Kellogg. He's one of our great generals. He's done a fantastic job for me, and he's doing some very important things for me right now. So, General, thank you very much. Really
General
fantastic
Kellogg,
job.
General Mills.
And we will
Two
have
of my
another
favorite
meeting
ways to
soon,
start the day.
And that meeting will be a meeting of progress, because I know with Karen in charge and with the Surgeon General working along with Karen and the group that you have, I know every one of them, you're going to make big, big progress very, very fast. So thank you very much. Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much. Mike, thank you.
That's it? Oh, he's just going to leave. All right. Shut up. Okay, let's go back to Biden here.
We're getting hit the hardest. For folks in communities like Darby Borough and Yeadon, Donald Trump thinks if he puts his head in the sand, the American people will too. But it doesn't work that way. Not when hundreds of people are still dying every day and millions are unemployed, wondering how in God's name they're going to keep the lights on and food on the table.
I know.
Not
Go to
when workers are
kevinlyfather.com.
weighed
and
down with worries about their safety or what happens if they get sick. And there are the steps that we need to be taking now to steer us steadily and strongly in the right direction, see us through this time, to make a more resilient future. They're all available. First, we have to do everything we can to avoid deadly spikes in the infections as people begin to go back out into the world. We're not that much better prepared today for the run of cases that overfills our intensive care units than we were 3 months ago. Second, we have to help give people the assurance and precautions that are necessary to restart the economy with confidence. If Americans lose what faith they have left, what little faith they have left in the government's ability to manage this pandemic, we'll see much deeper and longer lasting economic impacts and with even greater repercussions for people's well-being. Mr. President, don't leave the American people to face this threat on their own with no guidance, resources, or leadership from the federal government. Don't let support from the CARES Act expire next month while people are still hurting. Don't leave our frontline workers exposed without the resources they need, and don't waste any more of our time, Mr. President. The American people need confidence of clear guidance, grounded in science that's going to allow them to resume their daily lives. American businesses need the support of the federal government to continue to backstop them through this phases of reopening. And workers need assurances that their health is your first concern. Americans need a president who will put the American people first.
That's a good point. Producer Debbie just pointed out, am I the only one who relaxes when we switch from Trump to Biden? Yes. I'm so relaxed right now that I'm having to use a second hand to drink. I can't even... So that was Trump not making any news whatsoever, but news will be made tonight when he's on Hannity. So come and watch the Hannity. I'll probably record it and then we'll watch it afterwards. So 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I don't know what time that is in Ireland, Green Room. I never know. So executive producer Green Room, if you want to chime in here. I think I saw you in here earlier. Yusuf, there you go. You're somewhere overseas, right? You're somewhere in Europe. Yusuf, tell us what time 7 p.m. Eastern is, or what day. Like time matters anymore. You can always watch the replay. If you'd like to be in the chat room, in the fast chat room, then go to youtube.com/KevinLeeFather. You can also do it, as you can see over there. Some people are doing it on Periscope, which is Twitter, and then Twitch. No one does it on Twitch because I'm not playing a video game. So maybe I should just start playing video games, really start generating some moolah. If you'd like to help me generate moolah, go to KevinLeeFather.com. You can also paypal.me/KevinLeeDad. Right there. There it goes. And all of those things help me raise revenue so I can keep doing stuff like this. So I want you guys to have a good day. Midnight in Ireland, you think, Barbara? It could be. You missed the slur. I know, God. And they make fun of... So Trump yesterday posted a rap video from a QAnon account making fun of Biden's speech impediment. The same guy who insisted that he was not making fun of the reporter by shaking his arms violently. In the video, made fun of the speech impediment. I think he even called it speech impediment. Anyway, it wasn't a very good song. I mean, I was seriously more critiquing the technical aspects of it, of the TikTok video, than I was the content. But that's me. Okay, yeah, stay safe, everyone. That's good advice from the doctor. It's 1 p.m. Are you in Hawaii, Marcy? Did I know that? Or are you just filling in information? And in Australia, it's August 25th. Slurry Dawn. Don't. You know, it's... I'm not even allowed to. Kevin Lee Daughter won't let me. And at random got mad at me one time, too, when I was doing my Donald Trump impersonation and I was slurring. Because he's not supposed to make fun of people that slur. But again, he's in denial. It's like, I want to be accurate. You know how much I care about my impressions, guys. Anybody who saw the KK Macaroni press conference earlier, I got her dead on. It was like the audio was going bad, and then everybody's like, "Whoa, is the audio fixed? Where's the echo?" Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go and get stuff done today. I'm going to be putting together an opener. So here's the thing. If by tomorrow I don't have an opener, you guys get mad at me. Whip me into shape. All Hawaii, all day, mainlander. Yeah, no, I'm jealous. I want to be in Kauai right now because Kauai not. Ha ha, dad joke. We're going to end on that. See you tomorrow. No, see you at 7 or 11 or not.